Hi everyone, this is Kelsey. This 5-minute video will walk you through the intent portion of registration. The goal of intent is two things. One, to find out who is attending the games, and two, to deal with compliance items. Intent, like all phases of registration, takes place in Agon. The LPC of each program should have your login credentials, and if they don't, they can reach out to me to get them. If you need to change your password because it's been compromised, or you have a new coaching group, just let me know and I can update it for you. So before you get started, you'll need to decide if you'd like to flip last year's registration into this year. Flipping really is a personal preference, and if your team is pretty much the same this year as it was last year, it may save you time to pre-register everyone. If you'd like to have results flipped, just let me know and I can take care of it for you. Flipping also happens for state games when an area competition is required. Information from the 2018 basketball assessments and 2018 area summer games will automatically be flipped into state summer games. Because participation is required, you will not be able to add new athletes or partners into intent for state basketball or state summer games. The one exception is for powerlifting and equestrian athletes who will compete or complete the intent in the state summer games because the area competition is not required. So when we log into Agon, you're going to put in your credentials. You're going to hit registration. You're going to select the event that you would like to participate in. And then you're going to have your column with the athletes and LPVs. So we want to enter in all our athletes that are going to be participating into the state winter games. So we're going to add an athlete. Select the athlete. If your athlete is not showing up in this list, you need to see if we have the paperwork on them. To enter a person, we must have their application. So please give us 3 to 5 days to enter an application into our system once we've received it. And then we do our best to enter applications more quickly during the last days of the event. But if you've sent an application and you don't see this person on the list, just feel free to reach out to me and I can figure that out. And then the other thing is to check if the paperwork is up to date. If an application is dated 4 or more years ago, they're not going to show up on this list. So as soon as we receive this, it will show up on the list. So then you want to select the sport. Even if you have to guess for now, you can always change this later. And then you're determining if they're new or not. Programs won't be assessed for new athletes for this sport. Then you're going to click Save, and you should have a list of all your athletes that are going to be participating in this. Then you'll move on to the LPVs. Same thing, click on the LPV you'd like. Their role, so this is pretty important. So a head coach is the primary contact for a sport, or if it's a team sport. So for athletics, you're going to have one coach for each event, and then for basketball, you have a head coach for each team that is competing. A coach is an assistant to the head coach. An LPV are other volunteers that help out with non-sportive items. They're sometimes referred to as chaperone, and then partners are the unified partners that are competing in they're entered as an LPV under the LPV tab, but they'll be completing all the other steps in the athlete section during registration. You're going to enter their sport that they're going to participate or coach. And then you also want to keep in mind when entering local program volunteers that we do require a 4-to-1 athlete to volunteer ratio, and this will be enforced in 2018. Please also keep in mind that we do have a technology user guide to assist you with walking through the intent portion. There's also registration and very useful information for you in Agon to use. So then we move on to compliance. So if we go back here, this status is dealing with compliance. Check your squares. Everything should be green. If not, complete the paperwork or protected behaviors and send to us. If we received a partial application, this person will show up as red still until the full application is received. And we do keep partial applications on file for 1 year and then we shred them. Use the most recent application that we have. This can be found in our local program coordinator manual, and this is under forms. And there's 2 types of forms. So there's the athlete and the LPV. We'll go through the athlete real quick. So the athlete application has 3 pages, and all 3 pages must be completed every 3 years. Page 1 is the basic information about the athlete to be completed by a parent or guardian or an athlete who is their own guardian. Page 2, this must be completed by a healthcare professional, needs to be checked and filled out by a doctor. And then page 3 is the consent, and it must be signed by a parent or a guardian or an athlete who is their own guardian. So that's that. So then if we look at an LPV, same thing. So section A, everyone needs to fill this out, even the 4 required questions down here. Section B is going to be people that are under the age of 18. Section C is 18 and over, and then all questions are required. This information is needed to run a background check, and your application can't be processed without a social security number and driver's license or a non-driver's license. Section D, everyone must complete this. It needs to have reference signatures, and it can't be family members. It's got to be non-family members. And then we'll go to section E, and this allows us to run the background check. So please sign this if you're 18 and older. And then section EF is just giving you the consent to participate, and that's required by everybody. And I would check the unified box. It just makes it easier, even if you don't want to be a unified partner down the road. If that changes in 1 or 2 years, makes it easier to do that. And then for still under the local program volunteer, you're going to be filling out the protective behaviors. That's a 15-minute process, and then once we complete that, it'll get sent to us, and it takes 3 to 5 days for us to enter that, so that will show up. There's also the concussion training for volunteers, and all coaches and head coaches must take this. It must be completed in either the CDC or National Federation of State High School Training every 3 years. So once you get that certificate, you can send that over to me. Another reason why you may be sending me a new application is if the contact information isn't correct, they've either moved or changed addresses, or a person has moved from the team. So please let me know, and I can update our system. Something that's also new this year is that all applications, athlete and LPV applications, are uploaded into a Google Drive for on-the-go access. If you are a Google user, please just send me your email address and I can link the drive to your account. From there, you can access anytime, either on your computer or smartphone. The Google Drive app is very easy to use. If you're not a Google user, please email me and I will send you a link to the website that will give you direct access to the program's drive. And then Google Drive will just replace this access you currently have to Hightail. So it works very similar to Hightail. So the last part of intent, we're going to talk about credentials. I just want to thank everyone for sending those photos along and making it all work these last couple of years that we've had this. It is going to change this year, a little bit different. So for summer and winter games, specifics on when and where credentials must be worn will be provided on the coach's call. So before intent closes, please send me a passport style photo. Photos can be taken right off of a phone or camera. You can email photos to myself or you can text them to me. I provided my number in the beginning of the slideshow. I can show that again. And then include, when you're sending them, please include a person's first and last name when sending photos. It gets difficult trying to play guessing games when that information isn't provided. And then another note, just make sure they're not wearing sunglasses or hats, kind of have a clear picture for everybody. So to wrap it up, for the intent part of registration, anyone that is or may participate in the event must be entered into AGON and must be green compliant by the end of intent period. And if you have any questions, I'm here to help, so call me, email me, and I would be happy to help you. Thanks so much.